Okay, this video is about leftover excess reagent. Okay, so I'm going to do this first part really quickly so that we can actually get to the part where people get stressed, okay? So really quickly, we know that nitrogen is reacting with hydrogen. These are both Brinkelhoffs or diatomic elements, so we know that they're going to have little 2's next to them. I'm going to balance this and I'm going to end up getting that as my equation. Okay? So the first question is asking, what is the limiting reagent when 50 grams of nitrogen reacts with 32.1 grams of hydrogen? Okay, so when I have two givens, I'm going to go ahead. Sorry, my husband is bathing my baby and they're being silly, so that's why you might hear weird things in the background. So anyways, you know that you have two givens. So that means that you need to actually go ahead and see who is going to be the limiting reagent, who's going to make less. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to take myself straight to grams of ammonia because that's just kind of what I like to do. Okay. So I'm going to say 50 grams of nitrogen. And I want to get myself to grams of ammonia. So that's going to be my last fraction. Okay. I'm going to bring down that grams of N2. I know that there are two N's in N2 and each one is 14.01, so that's my molar mass. And that's for every 1 mole of N2. I'm going to bring down that moles of N2 diagonally. Okay, I'm going to go over here to this grams. I know that if I use my periodic table, NH3 has a mass of 17.04 when I add them all together. I know that that's my molar mass, so that's per every 1 mole of NH3. And then again, I'm able to follow that diagonal rule to go diagonally up to get moles of NH3 up on the top. I see that this is my molar ratio, and that comes from the recipe. So I'm going to see that there's a 2 next to NH3. I'm going to see that there's technically a 1 next to that N2. And I'm going to go ahead and solve. I'm going to put this in my calculator really fast. Sorry, I should have done this earlier. 50 times 2 times 17.04. And then I'm going to divide it by 28.02. And I'm going to find out that if I have this much of this reactant, I'm going to be able to make 60.8 grams of NH3. Now I have another given, so I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing I just did, but now with a different given. So this one is grams of hydrogen. I'm going to go ahead, put my molar mass down there at the bottom per every 1 mole of H2. I'm going to go moles of H2 on the bottom, and I know I need to get to moles of NH3. That is my mole ratio. That comes from the equation. So I'm going to put a 2 next to NH3. I'm going to put a 3 next to H2. I'm going to go directly diagonal and put moles of NH3. And finally, since I'm getting to grams, I'm going to put the same molar mass that I did last time because it's the same substance as before. See, 17.44, 17.04. I'm able to solve. I'm going to say 32.1 times 2 times 17.04. I'm going to divide by 3. And divide by 2.02. I get 180.5 grams of NH3 made. So it's pretty dang obvious to me here who our limiting reagent is. Our limiting reagent is N2 because we run out of him once we've made 60.8 grams of NH3. Seems like we have a crap ton of H2 left over though. Okay, and here's where people keep getting stressed. So I'm going to try my best to help you guys figure this out. So this is asking how many grams of excess is left over. In other words, how much H2 is left. So we know that we started with 32.1 grams of H2, right? We saw that in the equation. That's how much we put in the test tube, okay? We need to figure out how much we used to be able to find what's left. Because remember, that's what we're trying to look for. That's what they asked us for. How much is left? So we got to use stoich to figure out how much we used. So as you know, we used 50.0 grams of N2. We used every single drop of that, or every single piece of that. Once we hit that last little bit of N2, we stopped the reaction. It stopped the reaction. So anytime you're asked to find the excess leftover, like the excess substance, how much there is, you're going to use your given of your limiting reagent. Okay, so if you need to write a note for yourself, use the given of the LR. Okay, and what you're going to try to calculate is how much H2 it took to react with this much. Okay? So I'm going to want to get myself to grams of H2. So I'm going to do a stoichiometric problem. I'm not going to show you how to do this because this should be familiar to you. Don't want to waste your time. I'm just doing a normal stoichiometric problem, trying to get myself to see how much H2 it takes to react with this much. Okay? Once again, I need to use my calculator, so just give me just a second. 50 times 3 times 2.02, and I'm going to divide by 28.02. 10.8 grams of H2 used. So what we just calculated is, hey, if I use 50.0 grams of N2, like we found up there, it takes 10.8 grams of hydrogen to react with that. Okay? But that is not our answer. We're looking for the leftover. So what we're going to do is we're going to take how much we started with, 32.1 grams of hydrogen. We're going to subtract what we used from that, 10.8 grams of hydrogen. And when I put that into a calculator, I get 32.1 minus 10.8. 21.3 grams of hydrogen are just sitting there in the test tube waiting to react. Because we used all of the limiting reagent. Hopefully this helps you.